So this is a different kind of video than what I usually have going, because every now and then I kind of play a little off stream and don't have anything set up to record because I just like to test some things and see what I can figure out in short bursts. I don't go for very long hours like I do when I stream, or I try and get some daily things finished off really quick because I don't know what state my Wi-Fi is going to be in. So I decided just take a couple of my best matches as dual pool in custom, some of my best matches in custom for my dual pool, duelist Deadpool plays, because I was having a lot of issues when he first came out, and I am not a duelist player. I can say I did not like dual pool very much at all. But with a lot of consensus being around, he's either bad or he's the least fun. Of course, naturally, I had to go, well, is there a way he can actually work? And I gotta say, he is actually pretty damn good. He's the most vanilla Deadpool out of the 3 roles. His Deadpool in your area just does damage reduction, that's really it. Going from 20% when it's unupgraded and 35% when it is upgraded. Alright, that's still pretty good. All of his other abilities are pretty much the same as most of his other roles, where sword upgrades do more damage, his gun does more damage, flings the explosive poo emoji. Although I think one of his most prominent abilities, going for pretty much all of his roles, but most definitely for dual pool, is bunny hop, and really getting down the bunny hops off of your enemies, because that gives you bonus health up to a max of 50, which is 25 bonus health per enemy head you hop on, as well as I think 25 damage, because you do damage when you bunny hop up their heads. It also resets the cooldowns. So he is definitely a character they want you to lean into the agility of. I want to say similar to Spider-Man, because one of his best abilities to upgrade is his infinite dash, that every time you land it, you just have continuous attempts to just keep dashing and dashing and dashing on the enemy, which should make you very annoying because you're just constantly bopping on them. So one of the most natural strategies for a close range Deadpool would be to jump on their heads, dash in, jump on their heads again, dash in, jump on their heads again, and just keep dashing in while maintaining your bonus health and survivability. But the thing is, when you upgrade his swords, you get an instant set of his rapid crit stabs after you do a bunny hop. So something I found that was like really good for improving his damage was mixing in a bunny hop, a dash, and then primary, so that way you are close enough to land all of your crits. Because if you do a bunny hop and try to use your crits, it's like Spider-Man, where if you do the double jump as Spider-Man, you're going to be outside of the range to do his hammer fist move if you do it immediately. So you would have to wait for like about a second to let gravity take effect and get closer to the enemy before you can just land your hit. But when you have the upgraded version of Deadpool's dash, it launches you up ever so slightly above the enemy, but not so far away that you can't actually hit them with your rapid stab move. So what I found, not in any of this footage, but in the practice range, was a good tactic for maximizing that increased damage in swords and stabbing and the crits from the stabbing, is to bunny hop, dash in, land all of those crits, bunny hop again, dash in, and then land the crits again. And just keep doing that over and over again until your enemy dies. Because you won't be so far away that you can't land the crits. You do have to aim though. Melee character with aim. What? But you also stay agile and have a reliable way of just kind of getting in close and dishing in that double damage from the crits. Well, oh, he doesn't do enough damage. It's like, well, so what's the deal? Well, the damage from his fully upgraded swords is, I think, 45 damage, with the 5% anchor bonus bumping that up to 47.75, so basically 47 damage. Okay, well then, crits, the rapid stab only does that flat damage. It's just a bunch of rapid hits that sum up to like 47 damage. Okay, well, so the double to that would be like 94 damage. Okay, so you want to hit all of those stabs in order to get that 94 damage. Yeah. I think his dash is 40 damage, which 5% of that would be 42. So say you do like minimum one of those. So you get, what'd I say, 94? 94, sorry, 94, no, is it 94? No, well, let's say 94. 94-ish damage. Sorry, yeah, hold on. Math. 47.75. Okay, well, we're just gonna say 47 for the sake of argument, because it'll round up. But you know, let's just lowball it. So you get the 94 twice over. That'll be 18.8, 188 damage, plus the 40 from just the dash alone, 44 from the dash alone. That gives you 232 damage.
It's like still like 18 points shy of getting a squishy.
But that was also your bunny hop, which is 25 points damage. So that's 307. 307 damage. Well, 332 damage from doing 2 bunny hops. And that's not while using either of his ults, which I also found to be also none of his tick damage from the Deadpool in your area. Because Deadpool is a very synergistic character. He really shines when you know how to stack his abilities. So through his main sword ult, the pop quiz? The pop quiz, on upgrade that gives you a rapid state of healing for like from 30 to 60 healing per second. Or is that the upgrade version? That is the upgrade version. 25 healing per second to 50 healing per second. You get a movement boost, but you know, it's like if you're just bouncing on their heads and you're not really moving too much. While the upgrade version of pop quiz gives you even more healing from 30 healing per second to 60 healing per second, and a 15 to 30% damage boost. That's pretty solid, especially if it's 30% of 332. That's nasty if you were an agile Deadpool character. But that's with his pop quiz ult. When you have skill issue, you make it where aim for the enemy is super valuable, because every time they miss, they take about 60 damage, not including the 5% anchor bonus, which would be 63 damage. But, you know, 60 damage, basically. When it's upgraded, then they take continuous damage, that whiff damage of 63. And every time they miss, they get a 10% vulnerability debuff applied to them. And it stacks up to 40%. Let that sink in. It stacks up to 40%. If they miss, which is pretty crazy. But I also found that I love what they did with this character, because not only can his pop quiz and skill issue ultimates for really any of the roles be exclusively used for close range and long range. If you say use your upgraded skill issue ult and then decide to get close in, you then encourage your marked target to try and defend themselves by attacking you. But if you have mastered your agility and bounce on their heads, dash around, dash over them, even say apply that damage reduction to give yourself a little bit of an edge, and really nail your crits, you're going to melt them, because that's 40% extra damage dealt from what, like 300 points of damage. If you know how to hit that kind of number with bunny hops and the sword crits, if you know how to actually make those flow in your combo, you're going to melt them with like over an extra 120, 130 points of damage. That's disgusting. While as for his pop quiz ult, oh well, you know, that gives you an instant state of healing, and if you have it fully upgraded, that gives you damage boost as well as a movement boost. So if you decide, oh, I'm going to go long range and just start shooting and just like throwing poop at them, or throwing the headshot icon, which does a fair bit of damage, then you both increase all your range damage, you become a harder target to hit, and even if they do hit you, they better outright kill you, because you'll just heal up instantly. And they encourage you to mix and match, because the abilities that require you to get the second tier of your pop quiz ult is to bunny hop, dash, and throw your headshot icon. I haven't paid enough attention or tested to see if the bunny hop works on your allies or if it has to strictly be enemies. But if you have an upgraded headshot icon, then getting it to second tier is going to be very easy. There's the matter of his healing factor, his passive healing factor. Now, unlike the Vanguard and Strategist roles, Deadpool does not get a cooldown refresh on that passive when he reaches the second tier of his Pop Quizzle. All of his other cooldowns get refreshed, which is pretty cool. That can really encourage you to maintain your damage reduction, maintain your damage overall, and just being outright a blitz character. But when it comes to his regenerative healing factor, Deadpool himself says it in the hero page that if he were to allow it, he considers it cheating. So by design, they don't want you to have a second life reset as DUELPOOL. Because I agree, that's probably a little overdoing it, because it does not encourage the duelists to really pick their moment and know how to go in and maximize their effectiveness. Whereas tank pool and strat pool, they're meant to just be surviving. They're meant to survive and keep their team alive, so naturally get a second healing factor. Now, it could change this, but he's already really strong if you know what you're doing. And like I said, I'm not a duelist player. I just look at the ways he can just excel in this role. Because, you have fully upgraded damage reduction. You have your fully upgraded Pop Quiz for increased damage. You have your swords upgrade and your mobility upgrade, so that way you can just keep annoyingly melt the enemy. But as soon as your healing factor kicks in and it goes on that 45-second cooldown, that should be your signal to get the hell out. To absolutely just dip. Because once it triggers, you have 5 seconds of 50 healing per second, which does stack on top of your ultimate, stacks off of really any of the healing abilities you have in other roles. So that gives you a bit of an edge in staying alive, so long as you maintain your agility. Deadpool is definitely a character you want to know how to maintain your agility. Similar in respect to Spider-Man and respect to, say, Black Panther, because they want you to be comboing around, keeping yourself surviving, and really knowing what to upgrade to maintain that. Although that's what I love about this character, you can upgrade him and choose how you want to play him. There's enough flexibility where if you want to stay a range, you can be at a range and make that work. If you want to give yourself some sort of survivability, you can do that. If you want to be a close range character, you can also do that. But just like with any duelist role, you really have to pick your moments. Because if you make a mistake, you're going to be suffering. And if you're just wanting to look at just raw damage number, well, the 40% stacked vulnerability is definitely heftier than the 30% damage boost you get from the upgraded Pop Quiz. And I haven't even put any of that into practice. I just like came up with that in any of my dips into practice range, going like, oh wait a minute, vulnerability, stackable vulnerability on a duelist character. How can he really maximize his damage here? Or his healing factor? How can he just stay alive and bug the enemy team, taking aggro and sort of becoming like a light tank? But one key thing about Deadpool as a duelist compared to his other two roles is that all of his abilities focus on himself. He doesn't buff any of his team. He doesn't provide them any benefits. All of his buffs go towards himself and applying debuffs to the enemy, such as with his Deadpool in your area taunt. And that's another thing. That goes away after Deadpool takes 100 damage. And if you want to keep that from happening and keep your target distracted, then yeah, you have to learn his agility. You have to be bouncing around. You have to be dashing, bouncing on their heads, staying close enough to where they're in range, and they get their whole screen taped up. And that should also keep them from really getting a beat on you, because they have so much screen vomit going on. So as Deadpool, you really need to lean into what you want to do in the moment, upgrade for that, and execute it in the right manner at the right time. I was like, oh man, I fucking hate this character. He's so vanilla. It's pretty difficult to make him work, but I say that because compared to tank pool and strap pool, who can just fart and give value to the team, duel pool is pretty much a duelist through and through. You have to really work to do whatever goal you have set in mind, and really keep in mind your limitations and when to dip the hell out. But when you have these things mastered, holy shit, he's fast, he's agile, he's does not want to die, and he can be like really annoying. Much like a good Black Panther player, even though that character still could use some extra work done to him. Even like a good Spider-Man player, also another character who could use some work to them. But don't let the no star rating fool you for the character or how easier it is to play the tank variant and the healer variant, because this, in my opinion, is definitely the most difficult role for people playing any of the Deadpool roles, because you have to really work for that moment of I'm fucking going mode. Personally, I like getting in there. I'll stay at a range and just kind of tick away at the enemy until I'm certain I can go in there and not just get deleted. And based off of whatever the situation at hand is like, I will upgrade accordingly to deal with the biggest threat I can handle. And in custom AI, it often turns to be into fucking flyers, because the AI does not like to look up and shoot at flyers. They just get free damage all the damn time, and there are multiple instances where I just really bully an Iron Man to keep them from instant deathing my team. But even the infinite dash is really good for keeping you in the air with bunny hopping, so you can just kind of like bug a flyer like mid-air and just stay there and keep generating bonus health, staying survivable. It's just like Deadpool as a duelist, or well, yeah, just pretty much as duelist, would be a amazing opponent to die to in the game for anyone that really knows how to work him, because you'll just think, oh, I'm safe in the air, and then he just never touches the ground. Although I will say his bunny hops can be kind of inconsistent sometimes. When you're jumping on an enemy, they're fine, but when you're trying to jump on vertical surfaces, even when they're seemingly flat, sometimes, in my cases, they tend to just like don't register, so it'll instantly put me into a double jump cooldown state. That seems just like general bug issues, but it could also be some of my connection. But hey, if you can master that, then there's no flyer that can get away from you. Tanks probably be the best thing to apply vulnerability on after healers are no longer feeding into them, because I mean, flip them to bird and they start getting hit with vulnerability, then you just melt them. Even if not that, then stay agile and they will eventually miss, and they'll start getting hit with some big damage. And also, again, if you master the whole bunny hop, dash, and stabbing crit combos, then you're just gonna melt them. You're gonna melt them for 200 to 300 points of damage at a time, and then they're gonna be like, oh shit. But also, something I personally do is when my healing factor is on a cooldown, or I see that it just starts up, this is me needing to get out, and then I stay at a distance until it comes back on. I don't try to engage unless I'm certain that my healing factor is back up, so that way if I'm in danger I can just kind of dip. But the pop quiz is also really good for trying to save yourself, because let's say you're getting attacked by an opponent who's just kind of come out of nowhere. Let's say just the Hulk, he's decided to smash you into red spaghetti sauce, and you're like, oh shit, I guess I gotta use my ult, because I don't want to die and my healing factor is like 5 seconds away. Okay, cool, use your ult. It's fine, because you instantly start healing, and you can start doing any of your abilities, just kind of dodge around, buy yourself time. Just like there's an instance where I kind of rely on it against a monster Hulk, and as soon as I survive and then my healing factor triggers, I get the hell out. But if it had not been a monster Hulk and it had been a hero Hulk, or if I had a little bit more confidence as Deadpool, I probably, well, no, I'd say it had been the skill issue if you want to actually do significant impact on a monster Hulk. But on Hero Hulk, I would just use my Pop Quiz ult, give myself instant healing, buy myself enough time for my regenerative healing factor to kick in, or finish on cooldown, get to the second tier, and I probably send him at that point. Give myself my damage reduction so I can buy myself more time, as well as mitigate the damage so my rapid tiers of healing can keep me up. And one more thing I want to touch on with the Pop Quiz ultimate that can extend to all the other roles is that I know you can get his style up to max really fast. I'm not personally worried about that because when you use the ult, it goes on a 45-second cooldown, to where you can't even earn towards that ult until the cooldown's over. And that cooldown starts the moment you trigger either of his ults. You'll see a cooldown when it's during Pop Quiz and the like, counting down from 12 seconds. If by some chance you instantly get to the second tier of Pop Quiz, that 12 seconds will instantly jump down to it says 8 seconds. So you'll instantly lose 4 seconds if you just immediately go to the second tier. Not only that, if say you were to do that and the duration runs out, you'll now be waiting 37 seconds for the next time you can use your ult. If you were to wait until the last second and you have it all like laid out, planned ahead how you're going to get your ult, and you wait until the last second of that first tier and then start up your next tier, you will then refresh the duration for the full 8 seconds. So that essentially can give you not 20 seconds, but because you're gonna have to be waiting at least 1 or 2 seconds in between startups, and like if you wait the full 12 seconds, then you just lose the chance to get to this next tier. But essentially, like let's say 17 seconds. Let's say you have like 17, 18 seconds of this ult going, and you just get a ramping benefit from increased healing, to increased movement speed, to increased damage if you have it upgraded, or if it's any of the other roles. And then you have just done like 17 seconds of keeping yourself up. You now have to only wait like 28 seconds. It's like 28 seconds before you can go into the next ult. Well, not go into immediately, but build towards it. So if you know how to pace yourself and maximize your efficiency as any of the Deadpools, but in particular the duelist version of Deadpool, you will be very much underestimated. Seriously though, I love this character. This is by far my favorite character they've released the entire game. I don't think we'll get another character that's had so much work put into them like Deadpool. But if we do, oh my god, I love everything about this character, from him being all roles to you being able to upgrade him to his abilities in general. It's awesome. It's amazing. I don't care if Guang Guang's prophecy does hold and he increases all the fucking cooldowns. I don't give a shit. He's still fun outright. If they reduce any of his flat damage numbers or his healing, I don't give a shit. His kit is fun as is, and if you really know how to mix it together, you are the merc with the mouth. But I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something interesting about Deadpool. I might make more of these. I've been working on a test video for things involving certain effects in Rivals that are possibly stackable, or what kind of interactions they have. Like some of the debuffs, some of the buffs, and there's some interesting effects in that. I'll try and get that finished as soon as I can. But I wanted to get this sort of trilogy of Deadpool out because, like, if Elsa Bloodstone, when she comes out, it's gonna be disappointing. They really outdid themselves with this character. But if some chance they make her as a singular character in any way, like as diverse and insanely fun as Deadpool, I don't give a shit what balancing changes there are. This was just fun.
You should have retired years ago, Eric. Symbol. It's the artist formerly known as Moon Knight. Did the Lord Icon
the multiverse is repaired.